Welcome back to Revival Town Podcast. I'm Chuck Tate. That's Andy King.
How you doing, mate?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. Yeah. We're going to do something different today.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
And you know, you pitched the idea to me, and I was like, yeah, this could be good. Yeah, it'd be easy. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. And you walk in this
easy.
morning, and you're like, I have got way too many things to the questions you gave me, and I was like, well, I'm the same as well, so we'll just go with it.
It took me like a long time. I did more prep for this, than almost any episode. No, because I couldn't, we're celebrating 4 years of a Revival Town Podcast.
Yep, coming up real quick, right?
Yeah.
Just happened, right?
Yeah, so we decided to do the top 4 of several different things. And it was really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going through all my audiobooks. I'm going through every album I've ever listened to. And I got listening to songs and reminiscing. Going down memory lane. Next thing you know, it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, man, I got to go to bed. I was I was late getting here today. Yeah. Almost late to our first interview.
Oh, because you were researching. Right. Make me look bad. Yeah. Oh, I was researching. It's the most intense interview we've ever had.
I didn't say intense.
Well, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 topics and
celebrate 4 years
because of 4 years, and we've got to have 4 answers to the 4 topics. Right.
So this is called the favorite 4.
Favorite 4. So, okay.
Yeah, the favorite
Look at
4.
you with the name. Favorite 4. Not Fantastic 4. Favorite 4.
Right. Favorite 4. So basically, our top 4 albums.
Yep.
Books.
Yep.
Speakers.
Yep.
And dream guest on Revival Town Podcast.
And we do not know what we have said.
We
to
have
it.
not discussed it.
We have not discussed it.
I mean, we could even add our top 4 books of the Bible, favorite 4 worship songs. We decided to go with just 4 categories.
Yeah.
All right.
So the first one that we did was you want to do what do you want to do first? Which one do you want to do?
I don't know. How about I don't know. You want to do?
Let's start with books.
I was going to say that.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we're on the same page.
Let's.
No pun intended.
All right.
Boom, chakalaka.
So, and I had to clarify with Mr. Tate last night that these are Christian or non-Christian.
Yeah, any book. It can be fiction or nonfiction, which really makes it hard to narrow it down to 4.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have did 4 fiction, 4 nonfiction.
Yeah.
We should have did that, but we didn't.
We didn't because we want it to be done within an hour.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, do you want to go first?
I do not want to go first.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the first one. Changed my life. This book, live by every day, called 41 Will Come.
I thought you were getting ready to say Martha Stewart's cookbook. Right.
Well, it's about the same.
Okay, for real.
I'm going to go with. I could have got a lot of different books, right?
Yeah. Yep.
My favorite all-time read, and I love autobiographies. So 3 out of the 4 are autobiographies here. Okay.
Okay.
And the 4th one is like an autobiography, and you'll understand why. First one, my favorite book I've ever read is Mud, Sweat, and Tears by Bear Grylls.
Okay.
And I know that might be off the wall, but he went through so much to get to where he's at. Broke his back, was the youngest person to ever climb Everest. He has done it many times. It goes into that. He's the only person who has ever attempted to get into the SAS twice, because the first time he broke his back in a parachute jump, and he went back, and that was the last thing that he had to do. He had done all the other stuff, which is, if you see what the SAS have to go through to become that, it's like people don't go back if they don't get in because it's too hard. He went back and got in. Wow. And so the whole story is really cool. So yeah. So Mud, Sweat, and Tears, one of my favorite books I've ever read.
Okay, I love it. Okay, I've got to say, Everything by Mark Batterson.
Okay.
I couldn't pick just one.
Yeah.
But he's my favorite author.
Yeah.
His first book that I read was Chasing a Lion into a Pit on a Snowy Day.
Yeah.
He later released a book, kind of a follow-up called Chasing the Lion. But Whispers is about hearing God's voice. The Circle Maker. I just couldn't. I mean, there's so many, and I've read all of them. Win the Day. He's got a brand new release coming out called Million Little Miracles. So my first answer is Everything by Mark Batterson.
Okay. All right. You can do that. You can do that.
All right.
All right. So my next one is Spare by Prince Harry.
Ooh, I almost put that down. It's definitely in my top 10.
That was a good autobiography, and it really, and obviously being from the UK, and I see, you see a lot more of the royal stuff. So to get a glimpse into what actually happens, that was one of my best ones I've ever read.
Okay, so I'm going to pick then a memoir. All
Okay.
right. And I am going to go with Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I nearly put his down.
Oh, man.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
All right.
that was, he wrote down in his journal all the things that he wanted to accomplish in his career before his career ever began. And he shares his journal in the book. Like one of them was to win an Oscar. I'm not talking crazy dreams.
Yeah.
He fulfilled all 10.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah. And he owns
all right.
And he owns a football team, a soccer team.
Oh,
Austin,
that's right.
Austin soccer team.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. My next one is, I am reading it now, but I am into it. And I am loving it. And we are having him on the podcast in November. And that's Carlos Whitaker's new book called Reconnect.
Okay.
And this whole book is, and we talked to him about this in the car.
In the car on the way to the airport.
It hadn't been, he had just pitched it, hadn't he? He had just pitched it to him, but he had just done the 7 or 8 week experiment. So he does this experiment for 8 weeks. Before he goes on it, he goes to a brain analyst to analyze his brain, right? Then...
And I think it was Dr. Amen.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yes, it was. Amen. And then he went to 4 weeks. He stayed with an Amish family. Oh, before that, goes to the brain doctor. And as he is done with the brain doctor, he has to hand in all screens. So iPhone, iPad, can't watch TV, computer. Everything's gone for 8 weeks.
Wow.
The first 4 weeks, he lives with an Amish family. Then he goes from there to a monastery and lives with monks.
Yeah.
Then he comes back to Nashville and lives at home for a week or two without screens. No one's allowed screens in his home.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah. And then they analyze his brain again. And I haven't got that far. I've just started it.
Man.
But the first
I
chapter,
am all into that.
The first chapter has grabbed me. So I think this is going to be one of my favorite books I've ever read.
And did you know that it is that book did better in its first week than any other book he's written. And yesterday he posted that it's a USA Today bestseller.
Really?
Yes. I'm getting ready to listen to the Audible version of that book, but I have down a Carlos Whitaker book too, in Kill the Spider.
Oh,
that's
a good one.
Definitely just a really incredible book.
Yeah. Good. The last one I had to go there because I just had to, and that's Delirious by Martin Smith.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a book.
Oh, yeah. His book is, and it's documenting all the behind the scenes. And it just was really intriguing. Talks about when he nearly died, he fell asleep at the wheel. And that's what triggered everything for Delirious to really, go full time. So, yeah.
Wow.
So Martin's book, definitely.
Okay. Well, I'm going to throw in a tie between, and you know what? I don't even care if people make fun of me for this because I read the whole series, but it's been
Harry Potter
because of yes, no. There have been some movies made out, but Some of them are kind of cheesy and they've been made fun of, but I love the Left Behind series by Jerry Jenkins, the whole series, which is Dallas Jenkins' father.
Yeah.
And This Present Darkness and Piercing the Darkness by Frank Peretti.
Oh, they
both
were brilliant.
Together. Yeah, that's what really got me into reading, were all those. So I have to, I mean, we could talk about The Hiding Place. Another great nonfiction book was Through the Eyes of the Lion by Levi Luskow.
Yeah.
Almost made my list.
You mentioned This Present Darkness, by Frank Peretti. I remember I was like probably 14, and Peretti bought an audio version out of it, and Michael W. Smith did the background music to it. I don't know if you've ever heard this. And so he doesn't sing, it's just like his orchestra type music.
Yeah.
It freaked me out. Because I'd be listening at night, and you got, and it's talking about, up in her room in the corner, there was this guy, and he was, but it's got the music.
Right.
And
it wasn't a guy, it was a demon.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, man. So, I know. I almost put on The Girl Behind the Red Rope by Ted Decker, who is another Christian author that gets into some of the spiritual warfare type of themes. Anyway, a lot of good books. So many. I wanted to throw so many out there. The Michael Richards autobiography. Do you know who Zachary Levi is? He was the actor from the show Chuck, who was Chuck. He was also in one of the superhero movies that just came out. Was it Flash? Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, his memoir is really, really good. Yeah. So.
I'll tell you another one that, not Christian one, but James Gordon, who did the late night shows. Yeah. His autobiography was really good as well. Just that, about the guy who just worked to get where he got, So anyway, all right, let's
hang on. I listened to I listened to the biography called 41, and it was about George Bush Sr., but it was narrated by George W. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Anyway, So, man, we can keep going. There's so many good stuff.
All right, so let's move on from books. Let's go to speakers. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Favorite speaker. This could be Christian, like pastor, or non-Christian, right? And so my all-time favorite speaker is Judah Smith.
Okay.
Just love the way he does a message, the way he digs in.
When you're in the middle of the meantime, stay in the boat.
So
do you hear what I'm saying?
Who are you doing?
Just doing Judah Smith.
Okay, all right, good.
I saw him live once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, only once, but no, I've seen him twice.
Yeah, I've seen him. Just the way he communicates, I like it. And I'm a big fan of his dad, Wendell Smith. He's passed away now, but when I was a kid, he was like what Judah is now for that generation back then. So the Smiths for sure, but definitely Judah. What about you, mate?
I am going to go with R.W. Schambach.
Oh, man.
He is deceased.
Yeah.
But old school power Pentecostal preacher talking about the power of God. I got to go with R.W. Schambach.
Okay, all right. My next one is Henry Seeley.
Ooh, okay.
He's the pastor from The Belonging.
Yeah.
And every time I hear him, and again, I think sometimes it's the way these guys communicate and good storytellers, that type of thing. That's a big thing for me. So, Henry Seeley from The Belonging.
Okay. My second is, and this is where I was at in my life during this time, but I am going to say Willie George.
Okay.
With George's, member Seeds Conference.
Yeah.
And Church on the Move.
Yeah.
Willie George is retired from pastoring, but man, spent 3.5 years in Tulsa, and his preaching definitely impacted me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go non-Christian right now.
Okay.
Guy called Marcus Buckingham.
Okay.
Familiar with him?
No.
He would always be at the Willow Creek summits. Not a believer, but his big thing was know your strengths and lean into them and not your weaknesses.
Okay.
And English guy, used to work for Gallup. And so he'd be like your non-Christian version of Barna, right? Analyzing. But he he's brilliant on leadership, on team, like staff culture, things like that. So yeah, Marcus Buckingham is one of my favorites to listen to. Great storyteller as well.
Okay. So you mentioned and he's not in my top 4, but I do like Erwin McManus. But I have to say, The Last Arrow is right there with books. I don't know if you've read The Last Arrow. Yeah. Incredible book. But anyway, okay, speakers. I'm going to say for...
you were sneaking a book in there,
I'm just trying to sneak one in. I'm trying to sneak... man, there's so many speakers that I like. And, this person's had some controversy as of late, but I could listen to him preach every single day, and that's T.D. Jakes.
I was close to putting him on.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard a lot about him recently, and there's some stuff I think going on. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying there with T.D.
I mean,
Jakes.
I could throw Driscoll in there too. I used to love listening to Mark Driscoll.
I can't take him now.
Yeah, he's a little bit too rough for me.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Okay, the last. Well, it's not. I've got 2. I'm going to talk about. This is a new guy whose church is blowing up in Oxford, England, and when I hear him preach, he just knows how to story tell. But also, for me, looking at the crowd he's reaching, which is non-Christian, right? A lot of people that are going to the church there. I've got nothing to do with God. It's a new guy called Steve Foster, and he's the pastor of St. Aldate's Church in Oxford, England. And sometimes I throw a story up.
Yeah.
But he's all connected with like Martin's Church, which is down south, Holy Trinity Brompton, which is in London. It's all part of that network. Tim Hughes, it's all part of that network. But man, he's one of the best communicators out there in the UK at the minute.
Wow.
There you go.
All right. Love it.
Well, I got one more. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw
yeah, of course.
Pete Craig. I don't know if you're familiar with Pete Craig.
Because of you.
Yeah. Incredible communicator. Definitely. It's he does a prayer movement, but when he preaches, he's incredible. Based out of the UK. Good friends with J.D. Walt and all those guys. So.
Okay.
That's my speakers.
All right. So my 4th is really a tie between 4. I try to get as many as I can. No. So growing up, my dad was my hero.
Yeah.
All right. And also, so my dad, Blaine Bartell, Eastman Curtis, who I ended up working for, but then even our good friend Bill Vanderbush is an incredible communicator.
Yeah.
Deep, unlike anybody else that I've heard. So I just got to throw all those guys together.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I am a bit upset you didn't put me down.
I know.
That's fine.
Wow. So top 4 creatives, Andy King.
Oh, good.
I almost threw Francis Chan in there because
I did have Francis Chan, but I was already at 5, and I was like, he'll shout at me if I put another one in.
Have you ever seen him live?
Yes, I have at Catalyst.
Okay,
Incredible.
I saw him at Catalyst, and were you there when he led communion?
No.
Okay,
no.
so he came out, and in fact, I saw him at a New Spring conference with Perry Noble, who was another great communicator. But I remember Francis Chan coming out, and he just is like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even have anything to say. Everybody at this conference at Catalyst, we're talking about all these books, all these great books. I got a book for you. I don't know if you've ever heard this. Write it down. It's called the Bible.
Yeah. Pin drop, mic drop.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's see. Shall we go on to you want to do the albums or dream guest?
You pick. How about albums?
Okay, let's do albums.
How about albums? Yeah.
And I did cheat on this because, I can't just do one.
Yeah, you got about 27. Yeah. I saw that.
So, all-time favorite, some of my all-time favorite albums, obviously with Delirious. We've got to go there, right?
King of Fools, is that on there for you?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay. I am.
It is up there, though.
Okay, yeah.
Glow. The album Glow.
Okay, yeah.
They changed Christian worship albums with that. The continuous stuff they did. Glow, it's got My Glorious on that. I mean, there's so much stuff on there.
Right.
But right behind it is Live and in a Can, which was their first real album live.
Yeah.
And that was when they launched Obsession.
Yeah, that's my favorite album by them, Live in the Can.
Oh man, incredible. So those two, and to be honest with you, I could put all their albums in that.
Like a Mark Batterson for
me.
me.
Yeah. But Glow was that one that I remember when it come out over here, and the buzz of this is changing the way we do albums for church, So that'd be my first one.
All right, I'm going to say this one because we just had him on. I'm going with "To Hell with the Devil" by Stryper. It's in my top. It's in my top 4.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Come on.
By the way, I watched a documentary last night on Kiss.
Did you really?
And I'm not a heavy rocker like that, but their story was very intriguing. It's on Hulu, worth a watch. It really is. Like, it's recorded now, but they go back. 2 of the band members would not be on it, and they had come and gone twice in the band. Very interesting. Anyway, but it reminded me of Michael Sweet and all that. Okay, my next one, Switchfoot.
Oh, man. I almost threw that on there.
My favorite 2 albums are Hello Hurricane and Vice Verses, which Vice Verses is incredible. There's a song on there called Dark Horses.
That's one of my all-time favorite songs.
Yeah.
Any song.
Do you know the story behind that, right?
I don't.
So they support a homeless shelter for young people in San Diego.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And they meet these young kids who are homeless and they take them in. And so that album is those kids are the Dark Horses.
Wow.
So when you listen to it now, it will change the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're good guys.
Oh, it's one of the best live shows I've ever been to.
Yeah, same here.
So and we had a good time, didn't we?
He sat on my lap.
I know he did. I held his hand while he did it. So definitely Switchfoot. Anything by
and
Switchfoot.
I think I agree. Both of those albums it's hard to choose between one. I don't know how many listeners will be familiar of this band, but there's a band called Giant. Dan and Dave Huff, they were original members in the Christian band Whiteheart.
Yeah.
But they produced a record called Last of the Runaways, and they have a new one that just came out 2 years ago. But you remember way back in the day, probably around the time you moved over here, I don't know, maybe it was before that. When I was a teenager, they had a hit song on KC93. I mean, it was hit everywhere, but local radio, called "I'll See You in My Dreams." It was a ballad, a rock ballad. You've probably heard. You would recognize it. My guess is, but I just love that album. It just does a lot for me. So yeah, "Last of the Runaways" by Giant, and Dan Huff went on to be a studio cat who
he did Amy Grant stuff.
And Keith Urban.
Oh, okay.
He still works with Keith Urban on all his albums.
Yeah.
I just watched a little podcast, 10 minutes of Keith talking about his influence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Am I still up? Is it me now? Yeah.
Number 3.
Okay. And you know what? After I listened to this yesterday afternoon, I'm going to make a statement here, right? That could be controversial just because of what's gone on with them. Not with them, but the organization they were with. But I feel like Christian worship music needs to wake up, right? Because I've just mentioned two well, I'm going to mention in a second, but the first one, Delirious, who are pushing the edges, not just worship, but a non-Christian could listen to it and go, wow, this is good music, and not know they're being fed, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one, Hillsong United. Their 2 albums, Empires and Zion, musically will stand up against anything.
Yep.
And I just feel like
I kind of put Hillsong, Bethel, Jesus Culture, Elevation Worship all together because I just love all. Even though there's some controversy. So I mean, I love the movement, but I do agree that we got to be careful now.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and I think Hillsong United, like the Hillsong worship is great for corporate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Hillsong United brought something a little bit more unique. At the time, Coldplay were really big, and that type of sound.
Yeah. With everything.
You think with everything?
It's one of the song With Everything is one of my all-time favorite songs, period.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. We rocked that at Mission Peoria so many years. And even like when the Empires album, it starts with that song Here Now.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just Anyway, Hillsong United.
Okay. Yeah. I am gonna just kind of go way back, and I think these guys were kind of pioneers, and they're not together anymore. But I just remember the very first Third Day record.
Oh,
had Consuming Fire and Thief.
Yeah.
All those songs. And that's back when I was traveling the country doing youth conventions, and we would always do a lip sync contest on a Saturday afternoon during our convention. And I know almost every city that we went into, somebody was doing the song Thief.
Yeah. And you know what? We're mentioning it again. I don't want to sound whiny, but where are the bands like that?
Right.
Switchfoot is still out there, but who else? Back in the day, it was Reliant K, it was Audio Adrenaline, it was, all these Skillet.
It's either worship or like poppy stuff. What happened to even good rock and roll?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's move on. Last one. You ready?
Yes.
U2.
Oh.
Joshua Tree.
Oh, I missed that.
And War, which War had Sunday Bloody Sunday on New Year's Day 40. Joshua Tree had Streets Had No Name. Still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
With or Without You.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It was the album.
I'm glad you put that down because I should have. And then so my last one, that's epic right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Point of Grace.
Almost.
Twyla Paris.
Sandy Patty. I'm sorry. Sandy Patty. No, I am going to go with. You're going to laugh at me.
No, I'm not. You better not say Taylor Swift.
I'm going to say the soundtrack for The Greatest Showman.
Really?
I really love it. I love it. Love the album.
Okay, I'm going to surprise you right now.
Yeah.
I've never seen that film.
What?
Never seen that film.
You've got to be kidding me.
Do you know why? I hate musicals.
Okay.
There are some I can get through, but if I know it's a musical up front, I just can't get into them.
Right. I'm usually that way.
Yeah.
And in fact, my wife, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie, but it was all the songs from ABBA. Think about it, what that song was. And I remember my wife, we went on a date night and she picked the movie and I didn't know it was a musical. And it was all ladies. I was the only guy in the theater. I'm not joking. And we were sitting there and the movie opens up and it's got a beach and a scene and it's cool. And then here comes the lead woman and she's walking, and then she burst out in a song. And I literally out loud, I'm not joking, I went, "No!" And all these ladies started laughing at me.
Oh, man. All right. So is that it? Is that the albums?
I mean, I love, there's an album called Silent Screams by Lacey Sturm. It's a banger. Snakes in a Playground, Bride. Those listening, I'm an old 80s, 90s Christian rock guy. King's X, all those guys. But anyway.
Yeah, and the bands I didn't have, which I could have listed, Coldplay, Ed Sheeran, the Cranberries, Sinead O'Connor. I mean, some of these classics that I just, oh man. Okay.
Yeah, love it. The first Daughtry album was really good.
I didn't listen to that one.
Sonic Flood, remember?
Oh,
first record. That kind of changed the worship thing too.
Yeah, we need to get, I'm friends with the original guitarist from them, and he now writes for a lot of big people, Dwayne. We need to get him on. He said he'll come on.
Yeah. We brought in Jeff Dale before.
Yep, Jeff Dale. Yep. Okay, all right. Dream guests.
Oh, my goodness.
You want to start?
Okay, I'll start on this
again.
one.
Christian or non-Christian?
Okay, ready?
Yep.
If we could just have anybody, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah. He would be good.
Yeah.
He would be good. Okay. Bear Grylls. I would love to bring on Bear Grylls. He's the main guy behind bringing or helping Russell Brand come to Christ. And
I almost put Russell Brand down.
He baptized him, and his story I told you about his book. His story fascinates me.
Wow. Yeah.
And in the UK, he is like, he can't go anywhere. Like he's big over here, but he's massive over there, especially with what he does with the Boy Scouts and things like that. And so okay, next one.
Okay. I am going to go with, and I have too many. Narrowing it down. Probably Michael Richards from Seinfeld. He played Kramer.
Oh,
I just finished his audio biography.
Yeah.
Memoir. Fascinating.
Wow.
A spiritual cat. He's not a Christian, but he's spiritual, so I know he's close. I mean, if the right person talked to him, I really do believe he could put his faith in Jesus. But I would say Michael Richards.
All right. David Beckham.
Oh, man.
Childhood.
Bend it like Beckham.
Oh, childhood hero, and then with his documentary that came out, and you just see the guy. He stood in line for 14 hours to see the Queen in state with the public. He could have used his celebrity card, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He is truly an all-round nice guy. David Beckham.
Okay. All right. I am going to go with Jonathan Rumi, who plays Jesus on The Chosen.
You could then say we got Jesus on the show.
Yeah, I would love to talk to him. We probably could have got him a couple years ago, but maybe we can still get
try
him.
and get him.
We can always get Jesus.
Okay, you ready for my next my next one?
Yeah.
Bono.
Oh.
Could you imagine if we had Bono on the?
Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah. Wow. The stories.
The stories. I would just love to talk more about his faith.
Yes.
Because when you read his autobiography, which is another great book, it's woven. Scripture and his faith is woven all the way through it, even from his childhood, and it's really good. So that's what I would do.
Okay, all right. My fourth is a tie.
Yep.
And they're completely different people, and they're both controversial.
Okay.
But I would love to have them on the show and talk to them.
Okay.
Carl Lentz.
Yep.
And John Christ.
Oh, I had both down and I took them off.
Okay.
But definitely, I would love to have. I'd love to have John Christ on, but definitely Carl Lentz. Man.
Yeah.
Okay, my last one, Judah Smith.
Oh yeah.
Just talking church.
He made it on 2-year list.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of these guys did because of the influence. But
you should have had his book, one of his books on your list, right?
Well, Jesus is inspired us to put Jesus on the building.
Right? Yeah. So, man, I would love to have Judah. Yeah. You know what I like about him is, at least from me on the outside looking in, he appears to truly be genuine.
Yeah,
he really does, and I like his charismatic roots.
Yeah.
And he's unashamed to say things and call things like they are.
Yeah. His
had a lot of influence too.
His services are the church service out in LA. I got the privilege to go to one, and I was talking to my son Ethan, who went just last month or the month before to the Wednesday night service there. They only have it once a month. And where most churches, they'll do the worship and everything up front and get the atmosphere going and build it up, and then the speaker comes on, right? At their church, when we were there, and Ethan said he still does it, he'll walk out, there'll be a stool on the stage, it'll hit 8 o'clock or whatever, and he just walks out and starts. There's no worship, no nothing. They do a worship at the end. They focus in on the word first, and then they worship.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's nothing big build up, nothing. He walks, hey, how's it going, guys? Are you doing good? And then, he's got a bit of a routine of how he does his message. If you break down his message, he'll do like an intro, he'll do tell people where he's going, he'll do a bit of a story, then he'll do a prayer, then he gets into the scripture, and then the full meat, and then pray. Like you could see it every time, and that's how he starts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And 3,000 people are there, and like Ethan was just a few weeks back. He was like, "Yep, Bieber and his wife were right on the front row, and other celebrities were in the crowd." And
wow.
yeah. So and when you see Judah speak, he does not hold back on any of that. Things of the spirit and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
great.
He just went up a couple notches on my list.
Yeah, he really is a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Even though I feel, even though I was a bit upset with perhaps the way he was with Carl Lentz's family when he went through all that. I don't, in the documentary they said friends weren't there for him.
Right, and there's obviously two sides to every story. We don't know all the
correct
the details and all those things, but there's grace.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No.
Wow.
No,
man.
No.
Okay, I'll give him grace. No. Don't worry.
No, he's on all your list. You don't need to give him grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah.
Hey, if you could hang out with one person for a day, who would it be? Ready for this?
Yeah.
Living or not living?
Oh, man.
Or one of each?
Sounds crazy just because of the stuff. I would love to hang out with Beckham for a day.
Okay.
I know that sounds like, he's not Christian. I would love to do that. And then not live in Winston Churchill.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, the two English people as well.
Yeah.
What about you?
Outside of Jesus. Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, by the way, my favorite book's the Bible, just so you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Obviously, I meant to say at the beginning, outside of the Bible,
Yeah. Make us all look bad.
Oh, my goodness.
Who'd you hang out with?
So you, my goodness, I would say, I think I would like to hang out with Peter from the Bible.
Oh, see, now you take someone from the... I wasn't thinking Bible characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, outside of... I mean, if it was somebody else not living, I'm trying to think...
Because I think David would be really cool to hang out with.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. I mean, not the Bathsheba time.
Yeah, like, we're all barbecued on the rooftop. Oh, my goodness, yeah. He's like, hey... David he's on the roof. He called for you. I ain't going up there. No, for somebody right now, if I could hang out with anybody, you know what? Maybe Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, I just think that'd be interesting. I'd love to talk about his perspective on all the comedians throughout the years, television. I don't know. We could probably list so many people.
We could. I tell you, I mentioned him earlier, but James Gordon, he's so creative. Like his show was the most creative show on TV. I would just love to be in a creative space with him, just seeing how he works. Because he didn't do that show. He's done many shows, and I think that would be a pretty cool one. So Tom Cruise, that'd be pretty cool.
Talk
Scientology.
He's a weirdo. Yeah, we try. Establish common ground. Try to drop in the gospel. Yeah, there'd be a lot of people. I'd love to just to say, hey, tell me, what do you think about Jesus? Somebody like a Tom Cruise. Tell me, what do you think about Jesus? Somebody else we were talking about, and I would love to ask that same question. You hear people talk about spiritual things, but like Michael Richards. Okay, you read the Bible. Tell me, What's your thoughts on Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. You know, and so.
Yeah. All right, then.
Yeah,
well,
hey.
There we go. Well, that was fun. We'll do it. We'll do it again from time to time. Perhaps this could be a spot we do every once in a while on our favourite things. Yeah. So there we go. It. All right. Well, thank you for listening to Revival Town podcast today. We do appreciate it. Make sure you're letting people know. Oh, sorry, Chuck. What are you saying?
No. We have a Revival Town hoodie for fall.
Oh.
So you have to go to our Instagram page.
Okay.
And DM us to get it.
Okay, because it's exclusive.
It's exclusive.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. So make sure you do that. And again, we want to make sure you're telling people about us. Make sure not us, but the show.
Yeah.
You may not.
Yeah.
You may. Hate
we better
us.
be in your guys' top four.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We could hang out with Andy and Chuck for a day.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So make sure you're letting people know about the podcast. And Chuck, it's always fun. 4 years. Can you believe it?
Man.
We've been doing this 4 years.
Love you, man.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Revival Town Podcast. Make sure you're following us on social media and remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information, head on over to revivaltownpodcast.com.